Hi guys, I'm Shazad and welcome in this crash course. We're gonna teach you each and everything from the PHP. So you know very well that if you talk about the PHP is the server side or the backend language. It's an open source language. We start from the zero, like which tool we are going to use. We're gonna give you the idea about the PHP. We're gonna teach you how can you download, install and also configure the XAMPP. Okay, so let's discuss about the prerequisite. You have to familiar with the HTML because we mostly use the HTML in PHP while creating the form or while using the heading or the paragraphs. Only basics. Then you need the IDE. I'm talking about the editor. You need a server to execute your PHP script. We start from the zero while learning the PHP, like what are the variables, data types, conditions, switch statements, loops, how your for loop works, what are the conditions, what are the operators, and also we're gonna discuss about the special type of array, which is a associative array. We're gonna also teach you the array, how array works, how can you store your values in your array. We're gonna teach you the functions, how can you create your functions, how can you call your functions, how can you pass the parameters, how can you receive your arguments. We're gonna teach you each and everything from the scratch. Once you learn the basics things in PHP, then we're gonna discuss about the object-oriented programming. I'm talking about how can you create your class. First of all, how can you manage your classes, how can you call your methods. Once you learn the basics of the object-oriented programming, then we're gonna discuss about that how can you connect your PHP applications with your database. Once you learn the basics, then we're gonna discuss that how can you perform the CRUD operations in PHP. I'm talking about the inserting, updating and also deleting in PHP with your database. So I hope guys you're gonna really enjoy this video. So let's get started.
Okay guys, now go to the Google and find the XAMPP. So XAMPP is a server to execute a PHP script. So now as you can see, you have different kind of flavors here. So I have to download the Windows version since I have a Windows operating system. If you have the Linux, download this one. If you have a Mac, download the Mac version. I'm going to download the Windows version. I'm going to download the previous version, which is the 8.0. I'm not going to download the 8.1 version. So just click on the button. Once you click on the button, just save your software or the file which you're gonna download. Just click on the download. It takes time to download. It depends on your internet speeds. We have successfully downloaded. Just click on the button to install it. As you can see, just yes, okay, and hit the next button. Now, as you can see, it's fine. I'm Windows 11, so if you have a Windows 10 or Windows 8, it's fine. Just click on the next. You can select your path, click on the next button, and now, as you can see, the language, you can select your language. It depends on your requirements. I'm selecting this one, clicking the next button. So now, as you can see, it's saying that you're gonna install or you're going to install the software in your machine. So wait for a few seconds. It takes time to install the software in your machine. So we have successfully installed. Just click on the button. Now, as you can see, go to the C drive since we have installed the XAMPP in your C drive. So this is the panel. Go to the C drive. And now here, as you can see, these are the files and folders available here. Okay, now as you can see, if you want to execute the PHP script, just start the Apache. If you are working on database, just click on the MySQL button. Okay guys, so now as you can see, this is the browser first of all. Then as you know very well that we have successfully installed the XAMPP in our C drive. So this is your C drive. As you know, a lot of directories available here, but you have to consider the htdocs directory because you always keep the PHP file in htdocs directory if you want to execute the PHP script. Make sure whenever I say PHP file or the script, both are the same thing. Now, what happens if you access the htdocs? You can directly access the htdocs by just saying localhost. Whenever you execute the localhost, it will automatically execute the htdocs. As you can see, the index.php available here. That's why it's showing you the versions or the informations here. Now, you can also create any file here. Like if I open the Notepad++, make sure this is the text editor. It's up to you which text editor you are using. We're gonna use the PHP Star, but for now I'm using the basic text editor. Now I'm saying ABC. Control S to save the file. Now if I go to the C drive, go to the XAMPP htdocs, I have to keep this file here if I want to execute. I'm saying ABC is the file name. I'm saying all types, save your file. Now I'm saying echo working PHP file. Now go to the browser. If I say that ABC, as you can see, it's executing the ABC file. But this is the wrong way to execute your file. I'm saying I'm going to save this file as a PHP file. So abc.php. So you have to use the extensions before saving the file. Now, if I say PHP, now I'm saying echo working. So now go to the page, refresh the page, as you can abc.php. It's now working fine. So it's up to you if you are going to save the PHP file here. We normally create the folder. I'm creating the PHP folder and we keep all our PHP file here. Let's suppose if you are working on e-commerce system, then definitely you have to create the e-commerce folder and you have to keep all those files here. So now I'm moving the files from here and fine. And now if you want to access the file, then you have to use the name of the folders like PHP. As you can see, it's showing you a file. So if you access the folder, now the server showing you a file. As you can see, this is the file name with some informations. If you want to execute the default file whenever you access the PHP folder, then you have to create the index file. Like I'm saying index.php, and I have to keep this file in the PHP folder. So that means whenever you access the folder name, the system or the server automatically execute this index file. Now I'm saying echo index file here. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's now automatically executing your index file. But if you want to execute the particular file, then you have to use the file name like index.php. It's fine. Or the abc.php. abc.php. It's also fine. If you are giving the wrong name, so this file currently is not exist, then definitely the server give you the error. What happens if you create another folders? I'm talking about the inner folder like KK. So this is the folder name. You can also give the folder name like ABC XYZ. It's up to you. Now, if you want to execute the file which is available in the KK folder, then definitely you have to keep the files here and then you can go to the browser and say in the PHP you have the KK folder. Just access this one. As you can see, currently the directory is empty, so that's why it's showing the empty. So in this way the PHP works, but make sure before doing this you have to start the XAMPP. Make sure we have already installed the XAMPP. Now if you go to the search and say XAMPP panel, so now as you can see currently it's working fine because I have already started these two. So this is not required. We enable this one while working on the database. So you have to start this bad boy. I'm talking about the Apache. So now as you can see, it's saying Apache. It's working fine. But what happens if you have already installed the Skype and you are using the Skype or any kind of applications which use the port 80? Then you may face some kind of problems. Okay, fine. So this is the basics of the PHP. So you guys can easily understand. Okay, guys. So now as you can see, we are now going to start the PHP store first of all. So this is a text editor. So we already told you guys that if you are using any kind of text editor like Sublime, like Notepad++, or any kind of text editor, it's up to you. I am using this one. We have already created the files in our htdocs or the folders, which is a PHP folder. So now, so this is the folder structure. And now I'm saying this is the file. So as you can see in the XAMPP, we have a htdocs and we also have the PHP. I'm saying open this project. I'm saying trust project. Now, as you can see, this is the project. We have just used the PHP. As you can see, this is the ABC file which we have created, and this is the index.php file which we already created. Okay, guys. So now, as you can see, this is the index file. So whenever you want to execute a particular PHP script, then you have to use a less than sign, question marks, PHP, and question marks greater than signs. Your code goes there. Like echo working. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's working fine. What happens if you are not using this one? So go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's still working. What happens if you are not using these two? As you can see, it's showing you the plain text, not the PHP script. So that's why you have to use this syntax. So this is the basic syntax of the PHP. Let's suppose if you want to use the H1, or if you are saying you have created the index.php file and you are executing the HTML script. Can you do that? I'm saying welcome in PHP. So go to the page, refresh the page. Yes, you can also do that. You can execute the PHP. You can also, yes, you can do that. You can execute the HTML, CSS, and also the JavaScript or the JS code in your PHP script. Okay, now let's say, can you use the H1 here? Yes, you can also use the H1 here, but like this, H1 and also H1 flows. Welcome in PHP. Go to the page, refresh the page. You can also do that like X. So you guys can, as you can see, it's working fine. So in this way, you can create the PHP file. First of all, in this way, you can define the PHP script or you can execute the HTML code. We're going to discuss each and everything in our later lectures. Okay, guys, if you talk about the constants, then what are the constants? Make sure constants are the values. Like if you define the variables, constants are the same things. But once you define the constants, you never change that particular constants. Let's suppose if you have the pi value, you know very well that you never change the pi value. Or if you're saying that you have the email, like I'm saying this is the email, I'm saying email, my email at gmail.com. And now you're saying this is the email and you are using the same email to your entire project. You never change this email. So you have to define this email in your constants. So how can you define the constants? You have to use the define. It takes two parameters for now. One is the constant's name. Second is the value. Let's suppose I'm saying email. So you have to use the capital letters. So I'm saying this is the email. You can pass this variable here, or you can simply use the email here. Now, how can you access this email? You can always access this email by using this one, email. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the email. So this is the value. You can also use the array here, integer, floating data types, or any kind of data types. So if you are saying that the value is 10, so as you can see, it's saying integer, but make sure this is the constants. Once you define the constants, you never change the constants. Okay, so let's talk about the concatenations. Let's suppose you have this string. As you can see, this is a string data type, and now you also have the password. Let's suppose password. I'm saying the password is 10, which is the integer value. So how can you concatenate the string with the password? I'm saying you can concatenate this email, sorry, email dot. You have to use the dot to concatenate email with the password. So definitely it will show you the email, and after that the 10. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying email and also the 10. In this way, you can concatenate two values. Let's suppose if you are using the password before the email and you are using the dot, remove this dot. So as you can see, it's showing you the 10 or the email. Let's suppose if you have this one and you are defining the email after dot 10. That means you are saying you have the this variables and you are using the dot. So you never do this. You have to store the 10 in your variables, and then you can also concatenate with your values. Okay guys, if we talk about the operators, we use the operators to perform the operations on variables. Like if we talk about the operators, I'm going to comment this one. You have different kind of operators available in PHP, like arithmetic operators to perform the arithmetic operations, assignment operator, comparison operator, increment, and also the decrement operators, logical operators, string, array, and also the conditional assignment operators. So let's discuss about the arithmetic operation. Let's suppose you are performing the arithmetic operations, then you have to use the plus, minus, and also the multiplication, which is this star, backslash, division, and this is the modular, and also exponential. Okay, let's suppose if you have the x equals to 10, you have two values, and you are saying that you are going to perform the addition, like y. So if you say vardam, if you say vardam x plus y, that means you are performing the operations of the additions. 20. If you are saying that minus, let's say 0, because 10 minus 10 equals to 0. If you say multiplications, 100. If you say divide, it will give you the 1. If you say modular, it will say 0. It's totally depend upon you which operators you are going to use, or you're going to use, or you want to use to perform the arithmetic operations. Okay, if we talk about the assignment operators, that means you are assigning the values to your variables. In this case, this is the assignment operator. You are saying that you have x value, x variables, and you are assigning the variables with 10. Or you can also do that. Let's suppose x equals to x plus y. You can also do that. Now the value have, so now you will get the 20 value. As you can see, this is a 20 value. If you print the x here, definitely it will give you the 10 value. So it's 10 value, then it's saying 20, because in procedural language, the execution start from the top left and top to bottom, because the executions start from the top to bottom. Okay, now if you want to compare two things, let's suppose, how can you compare x and y values? So you can compare with the double equation sign. Let's suppose echo x equals to y. What happens? Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the 1. 1, that means it's true. If you are saying that x greater than y, as you can see, it's not giving you the value, because x is not greater than y. If you are saying greater than or equals to, that means it's giving you the 1. If you use the var dump here with a greater sign, refresh the page, as you can see, it's saying boolean false. It's giving you the false. So less than equals to, so this is a less than equals to, greater than equals to, or equals to. So you are checking the values here. If you are saying that you are using the 3 equal sign, that means you are checking the values and also the data types. If you say that x and y, as you can see, it's saying true. But if you are assigning the 10 with the double quotations, as you can see, now it's saying false. We also have another comparison operator, which is not. If I say that x not equals to, let's suppose, 10, or okay, fine, 10. So now as you can see, it's always give you the false because you are using the not. Let's suppose just use the this one. It's saying true. Now it's saying false. That means you are saying not equals to. So you have a 10 value and you are saying not equals to 10. But in this case, it's equals to 10. So that's why it's giving you the false. So these are the comparison operators. Okay, if you talk about the increment operators, let's suppose you are saying echo, or let's say Wardum, and you are saying x. So it's saying 10 value. If you say x plus plus, as you can, now I'm saying x equals to x plus plus, x equals to x plus plus. Now go to the page, refresh the page, and now if you say echo x, definitely it will give you the value because you are using the post increment, not using the pre increment. If you say plus plus, as you can see, it's saying now it's 11. So this is the pre increment and this is the post increment. If you use the pre increment, it's add the one value and then show you the value. If you are using the post increment, that means after showing, it's add the one value. Plus plus, that means you are adding the one value. Similarly, if you use the minus minus, minus minus, refresh the page, as you can see, it's saying 10, but you echo the x, it's saying 9, because this is the post decrement. So you have the decrement by one value. You can use the minus minus, or you can use the plus plus to increase the values. Okay, similarly, we have the logical operators. If you talk about the conditions, you normally use the logical operators. Let's say if you are saying that if x equals to 10 and y equals to 10, then execute a block of code like this. If I'm saying, if you're not familiar with the if else, don't worry about it. We're going to discuss about the conditions in our later lectures. If I'm saying x equals to 10, which is the true, if I use and, or if I use this and operator and say y equals to 10, Then say okay. So go to the page, refresh the page, it's saying okay, because this is the true statement and this is also the true statement. So that's why it's giving you the okay. So if you are saying 11, so go to the page, refresh the page, it's not giving you the value. Why? Because you have to use the else and you have to say false. Refresh the page, as you can see, it's saying false. So these are the logical operators. If you are using the and, that means the if statement always executed once you have the true from this one and also true from this one. But if you are using the or or this one or like this or, then you have the okay. So in simple words, if you use the and operators, that means both values have the true conditions. But if you are using the or, that means if you have any one condition is true, then the if block is executed. You also have the not and also some other kind of operation. We have already used the if else. So this is the condition. So we normally use the condition statements when we perform the different action based on the different conditions. So now, as you can see, you have the 10 and we are going to say that this is the 5. I'm saying if x has the value equals to 10, sorry, equals to 10, then execute this one, this code, this block of code. Let's suppose echo, yes, it's true. You can define 3 and definitely it will show you the 3. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying yes, it's true, yes, it's true, yes, it's true. Why? Because you have to use the concatenate and use the tag, which is the BR, to break the row. Now, fine. But if you are saying x equals to 11, so you have assigned the 10 value in the x, so x is not equals to 11 because it's false. So if you are not using the else, then if I say echo, I'm saying after if, here, as you can see, it's executing this statement. So if you are performing the other operations like else, if this is true, then execute this block of code. Otherwise, execute this code. Let's suppose I'm saying here is a false. So as you can see, here is the false. You can also compare more than one value. Like if you are saying x greater than 11, so x is the 10, you are assigning the 10 in the x, so it's not greater than 11. So that's why the system automatically execute the else. So as you can see, it's executing else. If you are using the equals to sign after the greater than, then you are saying that x is greater than 11. No, it will give you the false. Or check x is equals to 11. So it's still giving you. If I saying less than, so as you can see, so x is less than 11. Yes, it's true because you have the 10 value and you are saying 10 is less than 11. Okay, fine. But as you can see, this is the conditions. If you are using the 9, as you can see, it's give you the false. If you say 10, so it's give you the true. You can also use several conditions like else if, and make sure you have to use these curly braces. Let's suppose if you are saying if x greater than 10, then execute this one. So now refresh the page. If you say 11, so now here is the else, because you are assigning, I'm saying equals to Now it will execute the else if here. So these are the conditions. You can also use the and or operators and also the not operators. Like if you are performing the multiple conditions, if you are checking the multiple conditions, if you are saying and both are the same things. Check y equals to 10. So now refresh the page, it's executing the else if y because you are returning the true from this statement, but you are returning the false from this statement. Let's suppose if you are saying 1, you are just saying 1, then definitely it will execute it, the if statement. Why? Because 1 is the true. If you say false, it will execute it, the else if statement, because this is the true statement. If you are also saying false, then it will execute it, the else. So here is the else. If you say 0 and you are also saying this is the 0, so it's also executing the else statement. Why? Because 0 is the false, and also false is also false for the conditions if you're working with the if statement. We'll discuss about the if in detail while working on some kind of projects or examples. But for now, you can also use the switch statement. So switch statement always executed a block of code. How? If I'm saying die, so it's a built-in function. It's dying this code below, from here to the below. So that's why I'm using that. Don't worry about it. Now, if I'm saying switch, we have different kind of cases here. So if I say 10, then I'm saying yes, it's true. Break. We always use the break. And now if I say case 20, then I'm saying echo. Yes, the value is 20 and break. Pass the x here. Since x has the 10 value, so definitely the system automatically executed this block of code. So, so go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying yes, it's true. Now, if you are saying assigning the 20 here, then it's saying it's executing this block of code. You may have different kinds of code here. You can use that. Let's suppose if you are saying, so you are using the 3 lines, so it's executing the through line. So it's depend upon you. So this is the switch operations or the switch statement. And now let's suppose if you are giving the 5, then what happens? As you can see, it's not executing this block of code or these block of lines. So in this case, you have to use the default. And now if you say that echo I am default, so as you can see, now it's saying default. So you can create as many cases as you want. But let's suppose if you are giving the 10 here in the X, and now you are not using the break statement, then what happens? As you can see, it's executing this line of code and also executing this. So that's why you are saying break. So if you want to stop the execution of a particular file, then you have to use the break. We'll discuss about the break in our later lectures while working on the loops. Now I'm saying if you want to use the loop, so first of all, what is the loop? If you want to execute, uh, we normally use the loop to execute a block of code. Let's suppose 10 times or 15 times. Let's suppose if you are going to show the echo this value 2 times, then the first method, you can use the two times. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, this is this value, this value. So two times. But if you use the dynamic concepts to print these two values, then you use the code or the loop. So for loop, so you have to use these braces. So I'm saying I equals to 0. So you are initializing the loop. Then you have to use the conditions, like I'm saying I less than equals to 10, then semicolon. Then you have to use the increment I plus plus. You know very well about the increment. That means you are saying initialize from the 0. That means the loop start from the 0. Then it it checks the conditions. Then it increment the value. So let's suppose if you are using this echo and you are going to comment this one, now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying this is the value. So why 10? So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11, because you are saying less than or equals to 11, or you are starting the loop from the 0. So 0 is also a value. So from 0 to 10, it's 11. Let's suppose start from the 1, then definitely it will print the 10 times. Let's suppose you can also concatenate this one. So go to the page, refresh the page. Sorry. Now it's saying start from the 1 to 10. You can also perform any kind of execution of your code. Let's suppose you can, if you are saying that execute these three lines, that means it's now printing 30 times. So 10 times this value, 10 times this value, 10 times this value. Because this is the block of code. We normally use the loops to repeat a block of code. Let's suppose if you are fetching the data from the database and you have millions of records, and definitely you don't know about the record, either it's the thousands records or the millions records, then we use the different kinds of loop. We're gonna discuss about the examples in our later lectures. So now we also have the while loop. We use the while loop to execute a block of code when a specific condition is true. So let's take an example. Let's say I'm saying I have the x value, and I'm saying I have x starting from the 2 or starting from the 5. I'm assigning the 5 to my x value. Now I'm saying while, and we have to use the conditions here. How? I'm saying execute the loop and check the conditions. Let's suppose x greater than 10. Now I'm saying this is loop, and now I'm incrementing with plus plus. So go to the page. So now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, but use the dot. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's starting 5 is greater than 10. Yes, fine, it's printing this, then it's incrementing with one value. Now you have the x equals to 6. You have the value of 6 which is available in the x. Now the system automatically checks 6 is greater than less than 10. Yes, fine, then it's printing this one, incrementing 1. 7 is greater than 10. Yes. 8 greater than 10. Yes. 9 greater than 10. Yes. After or while checking the 10, 10 is not greater than 10. So it's a false conditions. That means it's terminating. Let's suppose if you are saying after this you are using the break. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, you are Now saying that break the executions. So that's why it's only printing the one time. Okay, if you talk about the do while loop, as you can see, you are checking the conditions before executing the loop. If you talk about the do while loop, you always execute the loop and then you check the conditions. Okay, now if you talk about the do while loop, so you can say do execute the loop and use the conditions, this one, and then you are saying while x equals to 10. That means you are saying execute the loop first of all and then check the conditions. So go to the page, refresh the page. So both are the same things. Now, if you are saying or printing the x as well here, so go to the page, refresh the page. It's saying 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9 because you are using the less than sign. So x less than equals to 10. If you are saying equals to, then it will automatically print the 10 because 10 equals to 10. So this is the true conditions. Okay, we also have a special type of array, sorry, loop, which is a for each loop, and we use the array. So here, you know very well that we have a data type, which is the array. So now if I say that we have the friends, and now we are saying that we have the arrays. So don't worry about it. We will discuss about the arrays deeply in our later lectures. Like Pepsi, Coke Studio, or the Coke, like HP, like that. And now, if you want to fetch the results by using the loop, so how can you do that? You can use the for loop. Let's suppose I equals to 0, like this, which we have already done. Okay, fine. Now I'm saying start from the 0, I equals to 0, because the array statement or the array always start from the 0. So here, this is the 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and this is the 3 index. 0 and I less than equals to, make sure less than count. So this is the built-in functions. Don't worry about it if you are not familiar with the count. And then I'm saying I plus plus. I'm saying print this one. So first of all, so save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm saying concatenate. And now I'm saying break the row. 0, 1, 2, 3. Fine. If you say that equals to, then as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because, so as you can see, this is the 0. You are printing the 0, then checking the conditions, then increment with 1. So that's why it's showing you the 0. You can also fetch the array value by using the for each loop. Or how can you use the for each loop? Now, let's discuss the for each loop. For each loop. And now I'm saying brands as my brand. And now I'm saying my brand. Go to the page, refresh the page with the concatenate br, refresh the page. Pepsi, Coke. So now as you can see, you are using the loop to execute a block of code, first of all. And now if you want to execute or if you want to fetch the array value manually, then definitely you have to use the index like this, brand 0. I'm saying die, refresh the page. As you can see, if you are saying 1, then it will print the Coke. If you are saying 2, then it will print the HP. If you are saying 3, it will print the tag. Since the 4 is not exist, if you say the 4, it will give you the error. Oh, this is a warning. It's saying undefined array key 4. But if you define the fourth element, I'm saying okay, then it will print the okay. So array always start from the 0 index. If you want to execute a block of code by calling a particular functions, then you create the functions. You know very well that we use a var done. So this is the built-in function. So PHP have thousands of built-in functions. So die is a built-in function. As you can see, if you type X, and as you can see, these are the functions available in PHP. So we're going to discuss about the built-in functions. Don't worry about it. But let's discuss about the user-defined functions. User-defined, that means you are going to define a functions. Let's suppose if you are going to create a calculator, then how can you do that? Let's suppose if I'm saying die. Now if I say I have a x equals to 10, I have a y equals to 20. So these are the two values. You know very well that you can also use the space between them. And now if you directly say x plus y, then you can do that. Just save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying 30. But if you're creating a function, and now I'm saying add, here I'm saying x first value, second value. Now if you say first value plus second value, and now save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's still saying 30. Why? Because it's not executing this function. So if you create any kind of functions, you have to call that particular functions to be executed. Let's suppose if you're saying 2 or 3, and now echo. Sorry, you don't need to echo this one. Refresh the page. As you can see, if you comment this one, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying 5. Now you don't need to write this code. Just call the add functions with different values. So it's now saying, or you can use the to, okay, now it's saying 9 and 5, because 2 plus 3, 5, 4 plus 9, or you can call this function as many times as you want. Let's suppose in this time you are saying 40 plus 5, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying 45. So this is the basic syntax of the functions, that you have to use the functions. Make sure this is the keyword. So you never use this keyword to create your own things. So you have to use the functions and then use the function name xyz or any kind of name, and use the braces. And now, so you can use the code here to be executed. So now as you can see, this is the function, this is the function name. Now if you say this is the xyz, if I'm using the die, or if you say hello world, and now say xyz, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying hello world one time. If you call 3 times, then definitely it will print this one 3 times. Let's suppose, so 3 times. If you call this function 4 times, it will print the 4 times. Let's suppose if you have 2 echo here and you are calling 1 time, then definitely it will print twice. Now 4 times. So anything you are going to write here, it will automatically execute it once you call the function. Okay, so this is the basic syntax of the function. Fine. So what are these? These are the arguments. While calling a particular functions, you always pass some arguments. Let's suppose you can pass one, which is a string. You can pass uh, two, which is a string. And now, if you call this one, refresh the page, as you can see, you are passing the arguments, but you are not receiving the arguments here to use these arguments. Let's suppose 1 and 2. Okay, so these are the local variables. Don't worry, we will discuss about the local and also the global variables in our later lectures. Let's suppose if you say 1, so this is the variable and this is also the variables. Now go to the page, refresh the page, as you can see it's saying 1, 2, it's printing this one. If you are not using these two variables, then definitely you can also do that. But make sure you're passing the argument, you are not receiving the argument. Once you define these arguments, if you are not passing the arguments while calling the function, then definitely it will give you the fatal error. That means your function required two arguments, but you are not supplying the two arguments. Let's suppose if you are saying null, or if you are saying null, that's fine, because you are saying the by default value is null and you are not passing anything here, so that's why the by default value is null. If you are saying equals to 0 or nothing, that's fine. But if you have defined like this, then you have to pass the arguments. You can pass the array, you can pass the object, you can pass the string, booleans, or any kind of data type. Okay, so this is the argument, this is the functions. How can you create the function? We also have the return value. Let's suppose in some cases you always return a particular value once you call a particular function. Let's suppose if you are saying that you are adding these two values 1 plus 2, and now if you are using the return keyword, that means when you call the functions, the function automatically return this result. Fine. So if you go to the page, refresh the page, as you can see, it's saying you have to pass the argument. If I'm saying uh, 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, now it's fine. Why it's not showing you the values? Because when you call the functions, it's returning the values. So now if you store this value in a variables, I'm saying result, and echo this one, then definitely it will show you the 4, because you are returning the 4 here. You are passing 1 plus 3 and you are adding the plus sign, or you are performing the addition operations, and now you are returning the value. You are storing the value in a particular variables. If you are not doing this, you can directly echo this code. That's also fine. So this is the return type, these are the arguments, and this is the function. So in this way you can create your user defined function. Make sure we have already discussed that PHP have a lot of thousands of built-in functions like print, or like var dump, get browser. If you talk about the scope of the variables, that means you can use the variables at any stage. So let's suppose you have a local variables, you also have the global variables, and also you have the static variables. So if you are saying that you are just creating a result, which is the variable, and you are saying 10. Now create a functions. I'm saying y, give your name, it's up to you. Now, if I'm saying function working and using the result, as you can see, now call the yy function. Okay, now go to the page, save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying undefined variable result, but function is working fine. So you cannot use the global variable inside your function. But if you use the result here, you can also do that after the function. As you can see, have to use the echo. Okay, guys, if you want to use this global variable inside your functions, then definitely you have to use the global keyword and type your variables. Now you can use the variable, which is the result. Now, if you call the y, as you can see, it's giving you the value, it's not giving the error. So you can use the global variable inside your functions, but with the global keyword. If you're not using the global, then you cannot use the global variable inside your functions. Similarly, if you are defining the local variables like xyz, comma, xyz, comma, abc. So these are the three variables you are creating while creating the functions. Or so definitely once you create the functions, then you have to pass the argument. So you are sending the one value here, and also one value here. So if you are using xyz, yes, you can do that. You can also do that with the others. I'm saying ZZ. So this is the ZZ and this is the ABC. Go to the page, refresh the page. It's fine. But if you are calling these variables, local variables outside your functions here, like ZZ, you cannot do. Go to the page, refresh the page, it will give you that. Okay, guys, now it's time to discuss about the echo. You know very well we normally use the echo to show you the output or the print the output. Let's suppose if you are saying echo working, that means you are saying to the system that show me the output. Okay, now if we talk about the print and you are saying working, or in simple words, if I say ABC equals to 10 and you are going to echo this one, it's a 10. If you use the print and pass the argument, it's also say 10. So the only difference is you have to use the echo because it's faster than the print, first of all, and echo never return the value, while print always return a value. So you can use that particular value, which is a 1, in your expressions. Also, you can use the echo with different parameters, like first of all, wait a few seconds. If you say echo, you can also use with the braces or without the braces. But let's suppose if you are saying print and you are saying ABC, then what happens? It's also executing. If you have two values like ABCD and you are saying 20 and you are saying that echo ABC, comma ABCD, then what happens? It's showing you the output. But if you are using the print, go to the page, refresh the page, it will give you that. So you can use multiple or you can pass multiple parameter by using the echo, but you can not pass the multiple parameters while using the print. We also have the var. Let's suppose if you are using the print, The print never give you the data type. If you're using the var dump and we are saying abcd, so var dump always give you the data type of the variables and also the actual value of the variable which is stored in your variable. So as you can see, ABCD, you store the 20 in your ABCD value and the data type is integer. So that's why it's showing you int. Let's suppose if you use the dot to, it's a float value. That's why the var dump is saying float value. We normally use the var dump while debugging. We mostly use the var dump while working on the real-time project. Okay, guys, so if you talk about the arrays, we normally use the arrays to store the multiple values. Let's suppose you have the variables, which are the simple variables. You store a single variables. You cannot store like 20 and 10 value in your variable. It will give you the error. So now save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the error. So it's illegal. What happens if you need the multiple value or you are saving or storing those values in a single variable? You cannot do this with a simple variable. You need to create a special type of variable, which is the array. If I say array, you can pass, you can call the array. So this is the built-in functions to create the array. Let's suppose you are saying 20, 30 or 45. Fine. If you use the var dump and you are storing the array, I'm saying my array and I'm saying my array. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the array. So the system saying that this is the array because we are using the var dump, so it always give you the data type and also the values. So the data type is array and the length of the array is 3 and the value is available 12, 30 and 40. Make sure this is the index. Fine. So if you want to access only 30, then you have to use the 1. Fine. Make sure array always start from the 0. So if you want to access this value 12, you have to use the 0 because array start from the 0. You know very well about it. Let's suppose if you use the 2, it will print the 45. But if you use the 3, since 3 is not there, so that's why it will give you the error. You can also fetch the value by using the for each or the while loop we have already discussed about in our previous videos. Let's suppose if you are saying my array 0 and you are saying 10, I'm saying my array 1. So this is the name of the variable. Also, I'm saying 10, 20, 30, 40. If I call this array, go to the page, refresh the page, as you can see, it's giving you the 40 because you use the 0 index. If you are saying 1, 2, or 3, that's fine. Now it's giving you the values with the index. So if you use the array functions to create the array, the system automatically assign the index. Let's suppose if you use the fourth value, and now if you're calling this variable, refresh the page, as you can see, you have 4 values. Now, if you are using this method to create or to store the values in your array, then definitely you have to create the index. So this is the fourth. Now call this value for the array fourth. Refresh the page fourth. If you use the 5, since 5 is not there, that's why it's giving you the array. Make sure these are only the integer values. You can also pass the string like PHP, like Laravel, like CodeIgniter. Now, if you access this PHP, then you have to use the 0 it will give you the PHP. If you use the access one, fine. If you say two, then it's a coding editor. You can also use the integer values, like I'm saying 10, if I'm saying 12.3. So if you are accessing this one, if 3, it will give you the integer. That means you can use different kind of data types to store those values in a simple array, because we have the multidimensional array and we also have an associative array. You can also store the array in here. Let's suppose I'm saying array, so I'm saying 12 and 30. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. If you access the fifth one, as you can see, it's saying that you are receiving the array with two count 0. Now if you access 0, it will print the 12. If you access 1, it will print the 13. Okay guys, if we talk about the associative array, we have a special type of array which is the associative. Now I'm saying to create the associative array, you need a key and pair value. Let's suppose I'm saying that apple, and now against the apple we have the value, let's suppose iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I'm storing this array in a variable. I'm saying zy x. If you var dump this variables, it will. So save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying you have the array and you are receiving the associative array. The length is 1. So now if you want to access this one, you have to use the key apple. So now as you can see, you are accessing the value. Now if you say apple, you are giving the wrong key, it will give you the error. You can create as many associative array as you want. Let's suppose if you are saying comma, you have to separate with the comma. Now if I say that HP, now I'm saying I have a Victus 15 gaming laptop. You can also assign the integer value or the float value. Even you can also create the array or the object here. So now if you just print the HP or access the ZYX or the array, as you can see, it's giving you 2. But make sure call the HP. Now let's suppose if you are using the array here, another associative array like 1 equals to 1. Now as you can see, it's giving you the array. And how can you access this one? Just use the 1 as a key to access this one. So this is the associative array. You can create or you can define as many values as you want. So this is the key and this is the value. So you have to use the equals and greater than sign to store the values. You may have the integer, float, or any kind of data types to store the value. Okay, so now if you talk about the multi-dimensional array, like I'm saying YY, it's a array, and this is a multi-dimensional. Like I'm assigning the array inside a array. First of all, I'm saying 10, 20, comma, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. So now how can you, if you print this one, var dump, Save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, you are going to access all the array. But what happens if you need to access only this one? You can also do that with the 0, but it will give you the error. Save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. Okay, now 0, refresh, fine. But if you are saying that 0, 0, that means you are accessing the this index, and also this index. If you say 1, it's fine. So this is a multi-dimensional array. You may have 3 or 4 dimensional array. It's up to you. Let's suppose you can also store the values string here. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, and it's a 3. So 3 string value. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to create another file. Let's suppose in my PHP script, I'm going to create a PHP file like inner, and now I'm saying I'm just using the welcome in HTML, or I'm saying welcome in inner file. So let's suppose if you want to fetch all the informations which is available in your inner file in your index.php. So how can you do that? You have to use the include, sorry, not here, here, include, and then file name. Let's suppose I'm saying inner.php. So you now save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying welcome. Since you have defined the h1 here, let's suppose if you have defined some variables here like inner val equals to 10 or inner val 2 equals to 20, and you are using the include here. If you call, okay, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's working. Now what happens if you call this variable here? Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the 20. Let's suppose if you are calling this function, sorry, this variable, it's saying 10. Even if you have a functions, let's suppose add, and here you are saying 1 and 2, and saying 1 plus 2, sorry, 2, and using the echo. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Now if you call this functions, I'm saying 10, 10. Refresh the page. Cannot redeclare. Why? Because we have already declared. I'm saying second. Call the second one. Refresh the page. It's saying 20. You have defined the functions here, but you are calling the functions in this file. Why? Because you have used or you include this file in this file. Okay, guys. So now we have a super global variables. So technically, super global variables or the built-in variables that you can use those variables in your entire website, or in simple words, it's available, or in simple words, it's available in all scopes. How? I'm saying dollar server. If you print this one, or wardump, save the file, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the informations. What? So as you can see, array length is 50, and these are the values available. So server variable holds a lot of informations about the headers, paths, and also the script locations. Like if you access So as you can see, this one, boredom, coming this one, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you this string. You can also say PHP self. As you can see, it's saying currently you are accessing the index.php file, which is available in your PHP folder. You can also check the server name, so localhost, also server port. XAMPP always use the 80 port, and also you have different kind of, it's saying protocol. The protocol is HTTP1, and also shift, hit the enter button. So these are the values available. So signature, so this is the signature. Also software, refresh the page, it's saying Apache 2.4.5.3, Windows 64, OpenSSL, and a lot of informations available here. We also have the variable, which is the get, and also the post cookie, and also as you can see, when you access, it's a cookie and other kind of sessions. We'll discuss about them, don't worry about it. But for now, I'm saying we have two types of variables. So get and also the post. Let's suppose if I'm saying h1, sorry, form, and I'm saying input type equals to text, name equals to, let's suppose, ABC, and if I say button type submit, and now I'm saying click me, action, I'm saying index.php, and also I'm saying method equals to get. Let's suppose. So now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, this is the simple file. If you click on this file, it's sending you the ABC variable because we are using the method, which is the get. The get method always shows you the name of the fields like ABC or any kind of in your URL, and you are sending the empty data. Let's suppose, how can you receive this data which is coming from the HTML form? I'm saying get, you have to use the ABC name, and now I'm checking. If it's not empty, then say okay, otherwise print false. Refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying false because you are not passing the value. Let's suppose if you are saying 10, hit the enter button or click on the click me button, it's saying okay. Let's suppose just echo this one, and it's saying 10. You can create as many text field as you want. Let's suppose ABC, and I'm saying ABCD. So you can also echo because we are checking the first one. We have to check the second one also if it's not empty. Which one? ABCD. Then print A, and also this one. I have to use the echo with the BR. Refresh the page, pause 10 and 20. Click on the button. As you can see, 10, 20. If you are not pausing anything, click on this button. So it's saying false. If you are using the get method, as you can see, it's sending you as ABC and also the name of the fields. But if you are using the post, now click on the button. As you can see, it's not sending you the value in your URL. So if you are using the post method, then definitely you have to use the post here. Post, 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 post. Once again, 10, 20. Click me, as you can see, 10, 20. But it's not sending the value from in your URL. So in this way, you can send the data from the form. You can receive the data by using the get or the post. It's up to you which method you are using, either it's a guest or the post. Sorry, not guest, it's a guest. So it's time to discuss about the PHP date function. So how can you manage the date and times in PHP? Let's suppose if you calling the date functions, which is a built-in functions in PHP, the date functions formats a timestamps to a more readable format. Like now, if I say vardam date, go to the page, refresh the page, as you can see, it's giving you the error because it's saying expects at least one parameters. So you have to pass at least one parameter. If you say y, then it will give you the year. If you say this y, it will give you the only 20. So this is a capital letter. It's giving you the full year. Small letter 20. Similarly, day. If you use the D, it will give you the day like this. M, M. If you say day, month, year, it will give you like this. Okay, normally where you use the date. But suppose in the footer you always have the copyright content. I'm saying copyright, then you use the functions here, date, and you use a pass one argument. Go to the page, refresh the page. Copyright, it's saying Sunday, October 2012. As you can see, it's Sunday, it's October, and the day is Sunday in 2012. You say today date, Sunday, October 2012. Now, how can you get your time zone? Like if you need, I'm saying that default time zone. Go to the page, refresh the page, it's giving you the error. Make sure it's underscore. Okay, now I'm saying that default time zone set. If I say Asia and I'm saying Karachi, it will give me the time related to my region. Refresh the page, as you can see, it's 70:29 p.m. It's 70, and if you refresh the page, so these are the seconds. Okay, I'm not defining the region, then it's giving me the by default region, which comes with the XAMPP or the default settings. That's why we have to define the region. Let's suppose if I say America, then and give your state name here, Los Angeles or any kind of state, New York, it's America. So this is the current time zone. But this is the Asia in Karachi because I'm from the Karachi. So it's time to discuss about the cookie. Mostly we store the cookie in the user browser. Why? Because of the speed optimizations. Let's suppose a browser is requesting a particular items and you are searching that particular item from the database and you have millions of records, then definitely it takes time to fetch the data from the database and your system shows that particular data in the user browser. So let's suppose it takes 2 seconds. But what happens if the same user requesting again to fetch the same data? Then again it takes 2 seconds. But what happens if you store that particular data in the user browser? Yes, I'm talking about the cookie by using the cookie. So when the same user fetch or request the same data, then the system or the PHP automatically fetch that particular data from the cookie, not from the database. So let's suppose in this time it takes 0.2 seconds. So how can you create your cookie and how can you store that particular cookie? We're gonna discuss about this. Okay guys, so now I'm saying cookie name, or you can just say name of the cookie. You can write the name of the cookie. It depends on your requirements. I'm using the name. You can also keep the XYZ or any kind of variable. So the value of the cookie, I'm saying value. So in this time, I'm saying uh, John, or I'm saying Alex. So now how can you set the cookie? You can use the set cookie functions. It takes few parameters like your name of the cookie. I'm saying name, this is the name, and your value of the cookie. I'm saying this is the cookie value, and how much time is required. Let's suppose I'm saying time plus, and now I'm saying I need, let's suppose 86500 and multiply by 30. And now in the third case, I'm saying backslash. So I think it's 1 day and some seconds. So now if I say I'm going to close this one and I'm going to hide the all data. Okay, now I'm saying I'm going to start the HTML. I'm saying this is the cookie. Okay, now I'm saying that check the cookie before showing that. How can you check the cookie? I'm saying I'm check the cookie with the if statement. Make sure we always check the conditions by using the conditions like if switch operation or the keyword. So now I'm saying if it's not set. If it's not set, which one you have to access the cookie and you have to give the name of the cookie. In this time, the name of the cookie is XYZ. So if it's not set, then you can say not set. Otherwise, you have to echo that particular cookie by accessing this one. Fine, since you are setting the cookie here above, when you execute this file, so as you can see, you know very well that your file execution stopped from the top to the bottom. So now refresh the page. As you can see, it's showing you the LX. So you are storing the cookie, and now you are fetching the data from the cookie. So now you are just fetching the data or you set the cookie. Now how can you unset the cookie? You can unset the cookie by using this method. Since you have just stored the cookie, now if you are saying that unset, now you have to pass one argument, which is the cookie name. Let's suppose underscore cookie and the name of the cookie. So this is the name of the cookie. And now just print vardum and die the below code. Refresh the page. As you can see, undefined array key XYZ because it's now null. Because you have already deleting the cookie above. So in this way, you can unset the cookie. So let's discuss about the sessions. You know very well that cookie concept, we always store the cookie in the user browser. But make sure every person or the person who use that particular browser can view the cookie and also the value. So this is a not secure method to store the sensitive information like password, like credit card statement or the credit card number or the password of the credit card. So we always store the sensitive informations by using the sessions. So if you talk about the session, let's suppose you are accessing a particular website like xyz.com and you visited that particular website and you just close the browser. So that is the session. Let's suppose you are using some kind of applications, mobile applications. You just logged in and perform your actions and close that particular applications. That is the session. So we normally start the session or store the information in the sessions and then we always destroy the session like we already did with the cookie. So how can you start with the sessions? First of all, I have already the inner.php file. I'm going to comment this one. Now you have to use the session underscore start. So this is the built-in function. Before using the sessions, you have to start that particular sessions. And you can use the sessions like this. And now I'm saying email. I'm saying shikzi171 at gmail.com. And if I say password, it's XYZ. Let's suppose password. You always access the session by using this key. Fine. So if you are storing the session, just execute this file, which is the inner.php file. So I'm saying in the PHP, I have in the PHP, I think I have, okay. I'm saying in the PHP, I have inner.php file. So you have just stored the data in the session. So how can you fetch that particular data? Let's discuss about the index.php. So this is the index.php file. Remove all the data and just use. So how can you fetch the data? I'm saying session, name of the session, which is XYZ. And now if you echo this bad boy, go to the page, refresh the page. Okay, if I var dump this one, var dump. Okay, so you have to execute the index. You have to start the session first of all before doing anything, session. And now you can use the sessions. So as you can see, it's saying undefined key XYZ. Okay, so you have to use the XYZ is the password, not the key. Use the email. So as you can see, it's saying the email. If you say the password, it's saying password. So in this way, you can store the session and you can fetch the data from the session. So you know very well that this is the key and this is the value. Session is a global variable available in your entire project. So that's why you are storing the session here and you are fetching the data in this file. You can also update the session at any stage. Like if you are saying the current value is now, as you can see, the password is XYZ and you are resetting the sessions. Like if I say edited, now if I var dump this one, the same statement, it will show you the updated web. Refresh the page, as you can see, now it's saying edited. So in this way, you can update the sessions. You can store the data in the session. So this is the string data. As you can see, this is the string data. Let's suppose if you are going to store the array. So you can store the array like this, 10, 20, or 30. You can also use the array functions to store the data to one of the things. I'm saying that this is the array. So this is the key. So you have to use this key to fetch the data. Fine. Go to the page, refresh the page. Why? Because you have to execute this file first. So the system inner.php, sorry, this is inner.php. Now use the index.php. As you can see, it's saying. So you have to store the session, then you have to fetch the session. You can store the integer value, you can store the object, you can store the array, you can store the multi-dimensional array, you can store any data type in the sessions. So now how can you destroy the sessions? You can easily destroy the sessions by using some built-in functions, session, unset, or you can use the session destroy. Both are the functions available to destroy the session. Let's suppose if I'm saying destroy the session, and now I'm printing this one. In this time, I'm using the dr to break the row. So now as you can see, the session is expired. Okay, guys. So now you know very well about the session and the cooking. So how can you upload a particular file by using the PHP? Let's suppose you have the form and you are going to upload a particular image. Then how can you do that? So before doing this, you have to enable the file upload functionality from your php.ini file. But before doing this, you have to check either you have already enabled the PHP file uploads or not. Simply, you have to use the informations and echo this one by the script. Go to the page, refresh the page, find the file underscore upload. So by default, it's saying on. You don't need to alter your php.ini file. But if you want to edit the php.ini file, since you have already installed the XAMPP, then definitely you have to enable or edit the php.ini file by going to the php or .ini file settings or by searching the files, and then you can also edit the file. Okay guys, I'm going to create a form. It takes few parameters or these are the properties. Action definitely from the index, from inner to the index, and the method is post, and you have to use the encrypt part, encrypt type, multi-part if you are uploading the file. I'm saying input type equals to file, give your name of the file. I'm saying this is the file name of the file. Also, I'm saying this is the button, type is button, value is button. Sorry, you can say value is button or submit, and name of the button is submit. Now go to the page, refresh the file. As you can see, nothing has happened. Now you can use the submit. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, form actions, index, type is submit, not the button. That's why it was not working. Submit, it's sending you from the inner to the index. So now here you need few variables. Now I'm saying you need the directory. I'm saying uploads. uploads directory. Make sure we have already created the upload directory. As you can see, this is the directory, and we also have a one image. Deleting this one, now it's empty. You need the file name, file. I'm saying directory, base name. It takes few arguments. I'm saying dollar file. You have to write the file name. So this is the name of the file. And also I'm saying name, semicolon. I'm saying status. The status equals to 1. It's up to you how you are managing. Or you cannot even do this. I'm saying type equals to str to lower. You're converting the small letter into lower cases. Path info. I'm saying file. Second parameter, path info extension. So this is the type of the file. Now you can check either the form is coming or not by using the if statement. How can you check? I'm saying $post, $post. What is the name of the button? As you can see, this is the button. If you're receiving the button, you can say is set and not empty. It shows not empty, or you can simply use the is set to check either the form is coming on. I'm saying okay, otherwise print the error. Not working. So now go to the page, refresh the page, click. As you can see, it's saying working. So here you can check the file size. How can you do that? I'm saying this is the variables, get image size. It takes few parameters. So this is the built-in functions. I'm saying file, name of the file. So this is the name of the file, and also temp y tmp temporary, because PHP always give the temporary name to your file which is we are going to upload. And now you are checking the status, not equals to false. Then you are saying okay size, otherwise say size is not there. So once again, refresh the page, select the file, submit the click button. As you can see, it's saying okay the size. You can check the, you can war dump the entire code, so you guys can easily understand what is coming to the. Okay, so now open, submit. As you can see, it's giving you the array. And now, as you can see, you have the array name fine. That means it's showing you the type of the image, which is the image, and the type of the image is ping. So you can also say that this is the, which one? Fine. So now comment, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying okay size, and this is the image. So now you are ready to go. Once you do that, then definitely you have to move your file from temporary directory to your own directory. I'm saying move uploaded files. It takes two parameters, your directory, I'm saying uploads, and also the file name. So in this case, I'm saying this is the file name here, and we are going to store in your uploads directory. And here you have to use the name of the file. I'm talking about this one, temporary name. So now once again, refresh the page, select the file, click on the upload button, go to your directory. As you can see, you have your file here. Make sure if you are once again select this file, click on the button, refresh the page. As you can see, you have your second file. When you open, these are two files. Now once again open, so you have a third file. So in this way you can move your file from your temporary directory to your directory. You can also check the file that either that particular file which you are going to upload is already exist or not. You can check by this file exist, and now give the name of the file like this one. I'm saying file exist, checking here, file already exists, not there, or unique file. Okay, fresh, select the same file, upload. As you can see, file already exists. So here, in this way, you can check the file either it's exist or not. You can also perform the limits. Let's suppose how can you check the limits? I'm saying file. So which one? This is the file. Copy this one, paste this one here. In this case, the file. Now just pause the size to check the size. And now if you say that greater than, then say you are exceeding the files or not. That means you are saying 500 KB. You can also filter, or you can also add the limitations of the file extensions. Let's suppose if a user can only upload the JPEG or JPG images, then how can you do that? Just use the file name. As you can see, this is the type which you are using, not equals to JPG. Then you can PNG. Let's suppose you can say this is not the PNG. This is not the PNG file. Yes, it's PNG. Yes, it's PNG file. Refresh, select, submit. As you can see, yes, this is the PNG file. Just comment this one once again. Yes, this is the PNG file. Let's suppose if you are saying JPG fresh, this is not the PNG file. So in this way, you can filter the size, you can use the extensions, or you can filter the extensions. So it's totally dependent upon you.
Definitions begins with the keyword class, like class, and you can use any name for suppose XYZ. You cannot use the reserved keyword for suppose if, else. I'm talking about the PHP reserved keyword. Okay, a class may contain its own constants, variables called the properties. We have discussed about the properties in our selection, and also the functions. Functions, that means methods. In object-oriented environments, you always use the term method. Okay, so you have the class, you have the properties, and you have the methods concepts, and definitely you have objects. For suppose I'm going to write a class, I'm going to comment this so you can easily get the code. I have a lot of code available here, so this is the diet, so don't worry about it. I'm going to comment this part. Okay, and I think okay, I'm also comment this. Okay, so now I'm saying I have a class. You can write your class for suppose car, and now two curly braces. So this is the syntax. How can you define your class? Okay, so now every class has the properties. For suppose public, so don't worry about it if you are familiar with public. I'm saying public var and car name, my car. Okay, so this is the properties. Of course, every object has a function, or every object has a method. I'm saying public. Okay, so now leave it. Now I have one class and one property. So now how can you access this? Before access this, you have to create an object. So how can you create your object? New, and the class name, two curly braces. Now this is the object. If you var dump this, go to the page, refresh the page, so you can see it's showing you the object, and it's also showing you the C name is this. Okay, so I'm going to new car, create the object. This is the object. I'm saying obj object 1, and now object. And how can you access this property? So now I'm saying object dash sign greater than sign. So now write your car name. You don't need to use the $sign. Okay, now go to the page, refresh the page. It's fine. You have to echo this. Go to the page, refresh the page. It's saying my car. Okay, so if you have multiple properties, I'm saying price, and I'm saying color. The price is, for suppose $2,000, 2000, and the color is, I'm saying red. You can also define multiple properties for suppose company, like this. Now if you want to echo all of them, definitely you can call by price and also by color. Now go to the page, refresh the page. It's giving you my car 2000 and the red color. Now I'm saying I have a public function display, and now in this functions I'm saying this dash greater than sign. I'm saying this, going to comment this. Now I'm saying this, then property name, and now paste this. I'm saying also the price name, and I'm saying also the color, our color. Why I'm saying this? Because these properties available in the same class, so that's why I'm saying this. This means current. Okay, I'm saying this dash greater than sign, and I'm accessing the same properties which is available inside the class, because we will discuss about the scope of the properties, public, private, protected. Don't worry about it. Now echo these. Okay, go to the page, refresh the page, working fine. So first of all, you need to create an object before accessing
any property or any method. You have a single method here and you have 3 properties. Now I'm going to create the object. So how can you create your object? With new keyword and also the class name. I'm saying cars. Okay, you have successfully created. I'm saying obj1. Okay, now Vardam, go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying you have object named car and you have 3 strings, this, and this. Now I'm saying that object 1 dash sign greater than sign, and I'm going to use the display method. Okay, whenever I say method, that means I'm talking about the PHP 5 or object oriented functions. Okay, in object oriented functions, object oriented environment, every function is a method. So functions and methods both are the same things, but while working on procedural language, that means PHP 4, we use the term is functions. While working on the object oriented environment, we use the term method. Both are the same thing. I'm saying object and display. That means I'm saying this object, I'm accessing this method. Go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's also showing me the 3 things. You can also use the BR. Okay, fine. We have a class card. We have some properties. We have one method to display the properties. Okay. As you can see, we are saying new card. That means we are creating the instance to access the properties and also the objects. Okay. So now I'm saying I have the empty variables name. Now I'm saying it's a display, and now I'm saying that comment these bad boys. I have one method to display its display. Now I'm going to create another method. Create. Here I'm saying that this car name this is the car name. I'm going to car name, and this is the car color, and this is the third parameters. I have a car price. Make sure these are the variables, the local variables. These are the properties. I'm saying car name, car color, and car price. For car price and for car color. Okay, sorry. Now you have one method to set the values. Now you can call the second method to display the value. Create an object or create an instance with the new keyword cars. I have created the instance to access the object. So this is the object. Now I'm saying the method create. It takes three parameters. So as you can see, three parameters. I'm saying car name BMW, and the color is red, and the price is I'm saying 120 or okay 120. Now I'm saying object. Now display. Go to the page, refresh the page. Okay, you have to echo these. That's the page. So as you can see, it's saying BMW.
Okay guys, so now as you can see, this is the file. We have the PHP folder. We have the index.php file. And here, as you can see, I have installed the XAMPP in my C drive. So now I'm saying that this is the username and also the server name. I'm saying this is the password. Okay. So username is the root, password is empty, server is the local host. If you want to connect with the database, make sure before connecting the database, you have to click on the start button. You have to start the MySQL. MySQL is a database. Make sure. Now you have to establish the connection. I'm saying new MySQLi. MySQLi. It takes three parameters: your username, sorry, server name, second username, third password. And now I'm going to store. I'm saying instance. I'm saying echo instance. And now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying object of class could not be converted. Yes, just use the warden. I'm saying instance, refresh. As you can see, it's working fine. Just we are testing. So comments, I'm saying I'm going to check in the conditions. I'm saying instance. Now I'm saying if we have the connections, I'm saying failed. You can also concatenate with the connection error. Sorry, this is not the variable, this is the object. Otherwise, we are saying welcome in MySQL. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, welcome in MySQL. If you're giving the wrong username, it will give you the error. To access the database, I'm saying PHP myadmin. After the localhost, you have to write the PHP myadmin to check the database. As you can see, these are the settings. Okay guys, now I'm saying how can you create the tables. I'm saying this is the query or the query or the SQL query. I'm saying SQL. I'm writing the query here. I'm saying create. I'm saying create table students, and the columns are ID. Make sure it's an integer. The length is 6. I'm saying unsigned, auto increment, primary key. The second column is first name, type is Warshart, and I'm saying 50. It's not null. I'm going to copy this one. I'm just going to change the last name, And now going to copy this one once again. And in this time, I'm saying surname. Once again, I'm saying email. You can also define the length of the varchar, 30, 50, it's up to you. For the insertion date, I'm saying the std date, and now I'm saying timestamp for current timestamp, update current timestamp. That's it. So this is the SQL query. Now execute this SQL query. So I'm going to copy this one. You know very well how can you execute the query. So we have already created the query. You don't need to do this one, and you are executing the query like this. You can also do that, like this is the instance, or you can say that this is the instance. If it's give you the true, then say success, otherwise say false. Now, once again, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's false. If you are getting any kind of error, then definitely you have to use the instance first of all, and then use the error method. Sorry, error. Refresh the page. As you can see, no database is selected. Why? Because you have to define the database. I'm saying database name. What is the database name which we have created? Uni. As you can see, this is the uni. Now, pass the fourth argument as a db name in your instance. Once again, you have an error. Check the column. What's your 50 line? Which line? 2. Okay, so now as you can see, this is a unsigned spelling mistake. Now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying success. Go to the database, refresh the database. Now, as you can see, this is your table. You have just created a table. Okay, now we have successfully created the table. Now it's time to insert a value in this table which we have created. Fine. I'm going to copy this one. Once again, I'm saying SQL. Write your query here. I'm saying insert into this table, student table. First of all, you have to give the name of the columns. I'm saying first name as we have created, last name. These are the not null fields, surname, and also the email and email. And the values are values according to the column. I'm saying Anna, second value, Walker. I'm saying XYZ or XYZ. Email, I'm saying Anna at gmail.com. So you have successfully created the query. Now execute this query. So this is the SQL. You're passing success or fails. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's success. Now column. So this is your first entry. You can pass the second entry. I'm saying 2, 2, and also the 2. And here I'm also saying this is the 2. Once again, go to the page, refresh the page. It's fine. So this is the second value. Okay, now if you want to get the values from the database, how can you do that? I'm saying I'm going to comment this code first of all. Now I'm writing a query, and in this time I'm saying select static from students. Make sure we have created the students tables. Now this is the query. So how can you execute your query? You know very well about it. So in this way you can execute the query or the SQL. So this is the query. Now in this time I'm saying because when you execute select static from the student, definitely you will have some results. I'm saying results. Now if you are checking how many results it's getting, you have to say num rows greater than 0. If you are getting the results, then you say success. Otherwise you can also define the error like no values or from the database. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying success. Now, how many values you are returning? Make sure in this time you have two values. Let's suppose if you have hundreds or millions or thousands of values. I'm saying while I'm saying my rows result fetch as an associative array. Echo, I'm saying my rows. So in this time, I'm just saying ID. So as you can see, it's saying ID. Now I'm saying break the row, first name, and also we have a last name. We have the email or the surname, email, and also we have the field which is the student date. So std date. So go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, you are fetching the results like this. These are the two values. If you concatenate the, I'm saying ID, concatenate with the related fields. So first name, last name, surname, e-name, and also the student date. Refresh the page. As you can see, ID is 1. So you have 2. Okay, guys. So now how can you update the entry? I'm saying I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. Now I'm saying SQL, and here I'm going to use the update query. I'm saying update, which is the student table, and now I'm saying set first name, equals to, let's suppose, Alex. Make sure if you are using this syntax, it will automatically execute all the records. So that's why you have to use the where id equals to 1. Now once again execute this query. How can you execute the query? You can execute the query like this. Refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying success. So now you can see you have two results. Refresh the table. As you can see, it's saying Alex. But what happens if you are not using the where clause? So now go to the page, refresh the page. Definitely it will execute all the first name or update all the first name here like this. So how can you perform the delete operation? I'm going to comment this one. Now I'm saying SQL and using the delete query. Sorry, delete from this table where ID equals to 2. That means you are going to delete the second results. So how can you execute? Copy, paste, save your time, delete it. So now I'm saying refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying deleted. Refresh the page. The second result is deleted. So in this way, you can perform the several SQL queries by using the PHP. Okay, now, how can you perform the CRUD operation? You know very well that we have already created the file. How can you upload the files? In your inner file, I'm saying I have the form, and in this time, I'm saying I have the input type equals to text, and name of the file is, let's suppose, std name. So you know very well that we have already created the databases. When I access the database, sorry, by using the PHP myadmin, I think the name of the file is university. Make sure it's not working. Check your XAMPP because you have to start the MySQL if you are working or interacting with your database. Once again, refresh. As you can see, it's fine. University. Now you have a student table. As you can see, this is the table of the students. And you have the first name, last name, surname, email, and also the student date. So you have to create the first name, last name, surname, and also the email because these four fields are required and these are the auto-generated section. So how can you do that? First of all, I'm saying student file, student name, and you have a last name, surname, email. Since you are getting, sorry, since you are sending the data from the HTML, you have to receive this particular data. Now I'm saying post, which one? I'm saying student name, four fields, last name, surname, email. Fine. I'm saying this is the first name and I'm going to choose some other variables so you guys can understand. Last name, surname, and this is the email. Now you have to connect with your database. To connect with your database, you need few informations like server name, username, server name, password, and also the database. Username is root since we have already connected with our local environment. And I'm saying password. Server is a local host. And name of the database is unique. So as you can see, name of the database is unique. Now, how can you connect with your database? I'm saying new MySQLi. It takes 4 parameters. Your server name. Sorry, you have to use the server name, not the username. Database name. Server, sorry, you have to use the server name, username, password, and also the database name. Now store the instance. I'm saying db is the instance and check the instance in your connection. I'm saying if the connection is exist db connect error, then you can say database is not connected and die the script. Or you can use simply use this here. Fine. So now go to the page, refresh the page. This is the index. As you can see, student name, undefined key. Fine. That's it. You have just connected with the database. Otherwise, you can say working. You're saying working. That means you have successfully connected with your database. Now, you have to validate the information which is coming to your data or the form. I'm saying if you are receiving the form, how can you check is set, submit, then you can say okay, okay. Otherwise, you can say check your form with the single braces. Host, or in simple words, use these two from here to here. You can say first name is set, and make sure if you are checking not empty, not empty, which one? First name. Then say okay. Otherwise, you can say check your forms. So you can use, you can validate the form like this. So this is the first name, and also you can use like this last name because all fields are required, surname, and this is the email address. Now once again attempt, you are leaving this empty, that's saying check your form. If you are using the same, it's saying okay. So now you are validating the data. Create a SQL query, insert into, sorry, you have to use the double quotation, insert into students. I think the name of the students, you have to give the name of your columns. What are the name of your columns? These are the name of your columns, and you can pass the values. Then I'm saying values are which is coming from the database first name, and this is the last name, this is the surname, and this is the email. Now you have to execute this query. How can you execute this query to check either it's working or not? SQL, and now, sorry, where is the connection? So this is the instance DB. So DB, this is the instance, and now you can use the query and pass the SQL query here. It will return the boolean true or false. You can say inserted, otherwise you can say not inserted. Fine. So go to, as you can see, you have only one record here. Fresh. So first name, last name, surname, email. So first name I'm saying Alex, last name, let's suppose John, surname, let's suppose XYZ, and password or the email, let's suppose alex@gmail.com. Submit the form at saying not inserted. Now, if it's not inserted, then you can use the DB and check the error. Once again, refresh. It's saying you have an SQL error. Check your manually MariaDB to your at gmail.com. Now we use echo here, and also echo for checking either the data is coming from the previous side or not. So lxjoin.xyz.com. We ensure that the data is coming from the database. This way you can debug your code. Okay, I'm saying single quotations. Use the single quotations here, and also the single quotations here, and also the single quotations here. I think that's why it's not working, because all these are the inserted. As you can see, inserted, you have successfully inserted. So you can also use the functionality like session. I'm saying session start, and now you can store the success data after the storing to redirect your page. Let's suppose session uh status status I'm saying equals to 1, which is the success. You can also use the true here, and the message you have successfully inserted the data. Same goes here. uh, Message. So now how can you redirect? Okay, now I'm saying that redirect from index page to the inner page, so your user can easily understand that you have successfully, or he is successfully inserted the data. How can you do that? You can use the header. First of all, location column. Now give your location. I'm saying index.php. Fine. Same goes here. Since you are storing the data here, then definitely you have to fetch the session here. I'm saying session start, and now check the session here. If is set session, which one? Here you have to see. If you say your status equals to 1, equals to 1, then create the h1, like if I'm saying, and if here I'm saying you have to print the session name or the message you have already stored in the sessions. Which one? This one. So this is more suitable. Once again, I'm saying lx2, lx2, email is lx2@gmail.com. Submit. Sorry, you have to send to the inner, not the index. So that's why it was not working. And you have successfully inserted the third one. Third one. Once again, lx3, it was my mistake. Sorry for that. Click on the button. As you can see, you are sending to the inner.php. And in this time, you are saying you have successfully inserted the data. Now, here, if you refresh the page, as you can see, your message is still there. You have to destroy the sessions after this one, or after your body session destroy, because this is a flash data. So session destroy. Now once again, I'm saying ABC, ABC, ABC. I'm saying info@abc.com. Submit the data. You are there. If you refresh, as you can see, it's gone. So in this way, you can insert the data. Okay, now you know very well that you are inserting the data. After inserting the data, then definitely you have to show that particular data here. So now you can use the same thing, like connecting your database. So this one, you can also create another file which holds the instance informations. Let's suppose I'm saying db. I'm saying db. Fine. Just copy the code and paste the code here. First of all, now include this file here, required, which is, I'm saying db.php, and now you can use this db. Fine. Similarly, you can include the file here, require, I'm saying db.php. Now, if you access the db variables here, just try it. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's giving you the object. So now you have the object. Here you are going to create a table with the th, name of the student. I'm saying id. Here I'm saying student, and sorry, first name, last name, I'm saying surname, and this is the email. And if I say this is the date. So now you have to create the tr, which is the table row. We're going to discuss about the table row, but for now, go to the page, refresh the page, which is the inner. So as you can see, this is the data, and make sure I'm saying, wait a few seconds. You can say first name, last name, surname, and also the email. Fine. Now it's more appropriate. Break the row, or you can use the margin if you are familiar with the CSS. Okay. Now fetch the data from the table. So how can you fetch the data? You have the DB instance. So as you can see, this is the DB instance. Now you can say that DB instance. So I'm saying query, or I'm saying SQL. I'm saying select static from students and execute this query. I'm saying DB query and give the SQL to this one. I'm saying result. Then you say, okay, now execute this one. Nothing is happening. DB query SQL, and the result, you have to use the result. You have to say that num rows, and now I'm using the loop. Here I'm saying and if, because you are starting the if here, so that's why you have to end the if here. You are using the column, make sure not the braces. And now you can also print the var result fetch associative array. That means you're fetching the result as an associative array. So as you can see, you have the 6 array. The length of the array is 6. The ID is 1. And as you can see, a lot of information is coming. Okay, now I'm saying while result fetch associative array, you are giving to the variable. I'm saying my rows, and now use the column, and you have to end the while loop. Here you can use the tr here and td, and you can use the PHP script. Now I'm saying id, copy the column name, give the column name here, go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, you are fetching the data. So once again, I'm saying Shazad Ahmed. I'm saying abc at gmail.com. You have successfully inserted. As you can see, it's showing you here. So you are inserting the data, you are fetching the data. So how can you delete a particular record? And this time I'm saying this is the TD, and I'm using the anchor here, href, and I'm saying delete. Now I'm saying go to the index.php, and I'm sending the data like std equals to fresh, as you can see, student. Now you are sending the data as a get method. As you can see, this is the get method. Make sure student name, and these are the fields are not there. So that's why it's giving you the error. If you are saying, how can you fix this one? If you say is set, okay, now I'm saying that this is the delete file which we are going to create. First of all, so this is the PHP file we have just created, and now you can just use the include to include your file. Now you have successfully included the file. Now, how can you fetch the data since you are using the get method? You can say that if you have the is set and you are getting the data by using what is the name of the file or the, so this is the data, sorry, if you are getting the data and also it's not empty, which one, this one, then you can store in a variable like store this, I'm saying student table std std row, and you can now perform the db query. db query, we have to write the SQL query before performing the db query. I'm saying delete students where id equals to, so you have to use the id query. Now execute this query. If it's fine, then do that, which one, you have successfully deleted the record, you have deleted the row. You cannot delete the row right now. You cannot delete the row right now. And in this time, it's just z. Location is the inner.php. Now, once again, inner. So we are going to delete the seventh record. Sorry, it was my mistake. Delete from students where id equals to this one. So once again, delete the record. You have successfully deleted the record. You have successfully deleted the record. And now you have successfully deleted the record. As you can see, you have 3 records. You have successfully deleted the records. So how can you insert the record? So now I'm saying I'm going to create another, I'm saying edit. So this is the edit file first of all, and you are sending the data to the edit file. So go to the page, refresh the page. In this time I'm saying edit. Just click on the edit, and as you can see, it's not showing you the edit since you have not created. So that's why you have to create the file. So you have created the files. Copy the entire code, paste the code here. I'm going to save the time, so that's why I have to delete this one, this table, destroy, and also I'm going to delete this one, and also going to delete this one. So you have the same file, same data. In this time, it's saying that you are going to this to the update file. the method is post, and you are sending the hidden information. Input type hidden, name equals to std id, and the value is, I'm saying, get the name of the, so this is the name of the variable. So refresh, right click, view page source. As you can see, this is the, now you are sending 245 fields to the update table. So once again, you can find the data from the database. How? I'm saying db. So this is the instance. I'm saying SQL, and now I'm saying select static from students, where id equals to which one? This one, or in simple words, you can say, you can concatenate and you can use this one. id equals to this one. Now execute the query. So you have a db instance query, write the SQL query here, and now you are saying results, and var dump this result. Refresh. As you can see, you are using fetching the data. If I say associative array, so as you can see, at the 0 index you have the id, at the 1 index you have the name. So now I'm saying at the 0 index fetch assoc. So this is the array, not the associative array. So I'm saying my data. So copy the data and use the value and say that this is the 0 index. Once again, copy, go 3. Sorry, you don't need to write the 0, it's a 1 because it's a username. Copy the code, copy the entire code, paste the entire code here, and also the here. 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4. You know very well that you are getting the values. So now in this time you can say that update. Fine. You have to create the update file. And now here you can add the db file. So this is the db. Since you are sending the data from here to this update file, then definitely you have to uh, fetch the data. So how can you do that? Just copy this code so you can reuse this code. In this time, you are saying just copy all the code. Use that particular code here. So now you have to edit this SQL query, first of all. So you are receiving the data which is coming from this edit table. You are validating the form. Once again, refresh. In this time, the file is update, sorry, edit. Fine. And now you have to perform the update operations. So how can you perform the update operations? Just alter the table, sorry, not actually alter the table, just alter the SQL query. So I'm saying update students. Now I'm saying set. Which one? I'm saying what are the name of the, so these are the name of the columns. Now I'm saying that's first name, last name, and also surname with the equal sign. And also I'm saying once again you are executing the SQL query and you are setting the same things like you have successfully updated. You have successfully updated. You cannot update the data, right? Once again, refresh and make sure you have to use the where clause. So I forgot to use the where clause. Where ID equals to which one, since you are getting the extra field from the system. So that's why you are saying this is the extra field. You can keep this one here and you can add another data like this, like this. Fine. Use the ID here. Fresh, I'm saying edit, John, edit, XYZ, edit, email, I'm using X. Update, undefined array key, std. Okay, why it's giving you the error? Because as you know that you are not passing the value as a get and you are using the get value here. So that's why you have to use the is set. If the value is set, then you can print the value. Or simply you are getting the value from the database, then definitely you can also use the database value here. Let's suppose 0. And now go to the update. You can also getting this one. So if you are not getting this one, then you can also set the value here and you can say session start, check your value, check the data before the delete operation. And in this time, you can send to the main file, which is the inner file. Fine. But before doing this, you have to check this value. If it's set, if it if it's set, it's not set. And also, if it's empty, then perform this operation. Fine, refresh the page. Now, as you can see, check the data before doing this, and you also have this one. Now, once again, it's not working. And now, if you view the page, as you can see, you are getting the three values. Since you are getting the three values and you are updating the data here. So now, once again, edited, I'm saying once again. So this is the server name. Update the file. As you can see, okay, so it's saying where ID equals to, why it's saying where ID equals to? Because it's now considering that this is the, okay, so this is my mistake because you have to use this after this. Now it's fine. Okay, once again, email update. As you can see, it's updating the email. Now you can also update the email, update the email. It's saying check the data before the delete operations. Fine. So you have to fix this one. If it's not empty, once again, remove this one, update. We have to fix this one. Why it's not working? Not. You can use the die here and stop this one. You can debug this. Okay. It's saying not, it's not executing now. Refresh the page. Now if you execute, I know why it's happening. So when you go to the update, then you have to say that destroy. Let's suppose session destroy. So remove the previous sessions and say session start. So once again, Alex edited. Alone. Okay, it's not updating right now. I'm saying alone one. If it's stating one. Okay, otherwise you have to destroy the session. Destroy. Okay. You can directly destroy the session here. Now it's fine. Now, so in this way, you can create the fraud operations. Basically, why it's happening? Because we never use the sessions for the flash data, which we have already used here. We always use the Laravel or the coding net or any kind of framework to perform these kind of operations.
Okay guys, so this is the crash course of the PHP. So I hope guys you really enjoyed this video. If you think we are doing good, thumbs up. Feel free to share our courses and also our content with your friends and also on social networks. And please support us by clicking the subscribe button and pressing the bell icon so you never miss any update. So thank you for watching.